Hey everybody, welcome to another episode. Today we'll be counting down the top 11 specials in Splatoon 2, ranking them worst, and then ultimately leading up to the best special in Splatoon 2. Now, of course, this is just my opinion. If you have your own opinion, definitely share it in the comments below. Let me know if you think some stuff should be arranged in the list, but like I said, it's my opinion. I think this is the way my list is on what I think are the best specials when it comes to what you want to use, whether it be ranked battle or turf war. Now, I'm not doing this specifically, so I'm sort of doing it like overall best. Now, some may say that Stingray is the best for tower control, but what I'm going for is the overall general best special that you can find. Now, without further ado, let's begin with number 11, Ink Cloud. Now, the reason why Ink Cloud is on the bottom of this list is because, for me, Ink Cloud is just a weak special compared to everyone else. Now, if every single special was nerfed, but except the Ink Cloud, it would probably be a lot higher on the list. I just feel like there are way better alternatives. You could easily just use something else instead of using the Ink Cloud. Next, we got Stingray. The reason why Stingray is here is mainly because of my biased opinion, honestly. I just don't like the Stingray for three major reasons. One, you're extremely vulnerable when you do so. You're basically an open target if people can see you. Two, you're extremely slow while doing it, and it just feels sluggish to me, and I'm the kind of person, as a slasher, I like to go in and do fast fight combat, take people down. I don't like the feeling of being slow. And three, it's just the fact that it does less damage than I would want it to, and it is extremely hard to control. It's so aggravating when you're trying to aim at someone but they keep moving side to side, so your Stingray cannot aim correctly because of its slow turning time. So that's why it's number 10 and sort of low on this list. Number 9 is also most likely my biased opinion, but some of you guys might agree with me on this one, and that's the Inkjet. The Inkjet is number 9 because I just personally, I have 3 reasons why I don't like it, like the Stingray. One, even though you can insta-kill people, it leaves you, once again, extremely vulnerable. You're just a moving target in the air, and when you hear an Inkjet fire, it's extremely loud, so people can easily find you, spot you in midair, and take you down in a matter of seconds. Two is the fact that, in my opinion, this might not be true for everyone, but I find it extremely hard to aim with the Inkjet. Like, every time I feel like I fire the Inkjet, yes, it can be a one-shot kill, but it feels like it always takes me 2 or 3. And by the time I've shot 2 or 3, I'm either dead or already flying back to where I started. And that brings me to the third reason why I don't like the Inkjet, is the fact that you go on your vulnerable spot where you started, where a roller or anyone really can just sit there and camp, and when you land back down, kill you, and everything you've used your special for is now sending you back to the spawn. Next, we got Ink Armor. Ink Armor is number 8 because, honestly, it's just an extremely, and I mean extremely nerfed baller. Or not baller, the special from Splatoon 1, the Bubbler. The Bubbler was extremely good. It would protect you from all damage for a short period of time, and you could give it to your teammates. Like I said, very similar to the Ink Armor because you are protected. But the fact about the Ink Armor is, it only protects you from 1 or 2 hits. Yes, it could be good in a very strong push, but honestly, I feel like the Ink Armor doesn't protect you enough, and if it's put to full use, it would really be put to full use in a competitive team where you're all coordinating together, using the Ink Armor as a sign and telling your teammates that this is the time we need to push. Next is number 7, and that's Bomb Rush. Bomb Rush is number 7 because This is, in my opinion, the better ink cloud. It's not an ink cloud, but when you want to cover turf and move people out, I would rather use a bomb rush than an ink cloud, mainly because I have more control when I use the bomb rush. I have more, like I said, more control. I have more flexibility, and not only that, I feel like it scares people a lot more than when they see an ink cloud. Some people, when they just see an ink cloud, they just swim right through it and act like it's no big deal. Some people even stay in the storm and they don't worry about it because they know they won't take that much damage. But the bomb rush, for example, suction bomb rush, which in my opinion is the best bomb rushes, is the best because it's an insta-kill and it's very scary, so you'll be sure that nobody's just going to be staying there thinking that they can take a hit, because nobody can take a suction bomb hit directly. And that's why I think it's just a better ink cloud, and you should use bomb rush instead of ink cloud if you can. Next is number 6, and that's splashdown. Now, when I first started this list, and when I was thinking about early game Splatoon 2, Splashdown is definitely number 1, without a doubt. But Splashdown has been nerfed, it's had changes, and now it being probably the most popular special for a long time when Splatoon 2 came out, for like a year, people would love Splashdown and use it all the time. It became such a common thing that you would get Splashdowned on, that people learned how to begin to counter it. Like for example, the splashdown canceling. Like when somebody goes in the air, you simply kill them because they are sort of like the Inkjet, how they're vulnerable in the air, except they're more harder to take down. But if you're a skilled player, you know what to do. You can easily take them down in midair. And even though the splashdown is a one-shot kill with a pretty wide radius, and if you get somebody stuck in a corner, it's game over for them. But the reason why I feel like it's so low on the list compared to what it was and used to be, is just because, people have adapted to it. People have learned how to counter it a lot now, and it's honestly not as good. Now, I was thinking about putting this higher on the list. I'm sort of still debating on it now. So maybe if you guys want, I can do an updated list. But for now, Splashdown is 6 because I feel like a lot of people have learned how to counter it. And, of course, there's that time, if you're lucky, you can just simply swim away and they wasted their special. Next, we're going down to number 5, and I have chose for number 5, Octo Stamp. I chose Octo Stamp for number 5 because it is a really good special. It is powerful, it's a one-shot. It's an easy way to get enemies and just say, get out of my way. You better move out of my way or you're gonna die, because it's such a strong force. Not only that, there's that one person in rank X who has his Octo Stamp and he freaking snipes you across the map, because after you're done hammering, or you can do this whenever you want, you can freaking throw the Octo Stamp, making it technically like a gigantic bomb hurling right at you. And it's pretty much like a giant insta-kill burst bomb. It's extremely powerful, and there's nothing a whole lot you can do about it if the enemy has good aim. And that's why I feel like if used correctly, Octo Stamp is high on the list, because if used correctly, it's extremely powerful. But the reason why it's not near the top 3 or top 4 is because it's not that hard to take down. You're not super fast while using Octo Stamp. I do believe you have a slight speed boost on running, but somebody could swim behind you and shoot you in the back and you would die. So that's why it's sort of low and not as high as the top 4. Now, number 4, Tenta Missiles. This is sort of a biased opinion. I like Tenta Missiles because they're Tenta Missiles. I think that they're just extremely good because it's so easy to use. Anybody can use them. You just look at the target and shoot, and it automatically sends tons of missiles hurling at the enemy. Whether it's one person or 4. It's just an easy way to get enemies moving and leave them out in the open where you and your team can flank them easily. So that's why it's might be a bit of my biased opinion, but that's why it's this high on the list. Number 3 is Baller. Now, honestly, I put Baller on this list, and this is not really me, but what I've seen some competitive players do. I'm not too fond on the Baller, but as I'm watching Splatoon competitive players, I've seen how well people use the Baller in competitive ideas. It's an easy way to make a quick escape, or easy way to take back one of these smaller zones, or get people to move out of your way. It's basically like Ink Armor, but with an explosion. Because they both have a slight cooldown time to actually give you the armor, and they both protect you. And that's why I feel like Ink Armor is sort of lower on the list, because you got the Baller, which pretty much does the same thing, and explodes in a huge radius. And not only that, you move extremely fast before you explode. It's like a motorbike hamster ball that literally explodes enemy ink, which is extremely strong in my opinion, and that's why it's so high on the list. Number 2 is the Bubble Blower. Now, the Bubble Blower is high on this list because it's super strong. When it explodes, it's probably the radius of a baller, if not bigger. And not only that, you throw 3 of them. So they're 3 gigantic bombs that you hurl at the enemy, which in my opinion is super good because you can throw 3 gigantic bombs at the enemy. And if you have a sniper, you can easily pop them and send your opponents running. Now, number 1, and that's probably obvious, it's the Booyah Bomb. It's extremely strong. You throw a literal nuke, you have like 500 plus health. If you want to take this thing down, you're gonna have to be put up against a very bad player who doesn't know how to use a Booyah Bomb, because mostly they will charge up their Booyah Bomb in a matter of seconds. You can't take them down no matter what in the air, unless, like I said, they're bad and they just throw a nuke at you. It's pretty much a get out of jail free card. It's a get out of my way card. It's anything you want it to be. It's really strong, and it's the definition of an overpowered special. You can literally do anything with this special. It's that strong. Not only that, it can insta-kill an entire team if it wants. But yeah, that's my list. I hope you enjoyed. This is my, like I said, my honest opinion, so hopefully you understand that. That's all for now, and I'll see